Well, the idea started with James Lapine pitching me on the idea of doing a sort of cross between a documentary and a musical review about Stephen Sondheim's life and process. And we knew that Steve would be the central character of the show, but that he would be entirely on video. So we had a virtual character that we had to deal with. So we needed a set that didn't feel as much like a movie screen as it did like a website, where we could use him as a character and also sample from his archive, sort of dip in and out of different parts of his life, approach it in different ways, and at the same time make it a seamless, entertaining Broadway musical.
Tell us about those monitors. They're extraordinary. They kind of come together and seem seamless.
We knew we had so much material that it felt more like, in a way, making a website than making a documentary film. We wanted to use the vocabulary of a website because I felt like that would make the theatrical experience richer for the audience. And as a result, I felt like the aesthetic of the computer monitor was more appropriate than the aesthetic of the projector. So we started hunting around for an appropriate monitor system that would give us the size we needed, but that would be reasonably affordable. So we started to come up with the idea for how we could make a big wall that could come apart into a bunch of little walls that could reconfigure for the stage with different levels, physically speaking, for the actors to stand on. And what we came up with was this design that involved essentially 4 moving pieces on the front wall. And then on the backside of a turntable that Beowulf designed, there's a large vertically oriented slice of monitors that kind of looks like it's fallen from the sky, and then a pile of monitors that looks like it has fallen down between these 2 curving staircases that come around from the backside.
She was grand, bland, brave or brisk or brittle, anything required, both concerned and strictly non-committal, and a little tired. She was deftly deferential, or so they wrote on her wreath.
No one ever glimpsed her potential, but when stripped down to
The essential,
mind you, this is
confidential, weighed on underneath.
The documentary part of the process happened over about 1.5 years. At first, we treated it like we were making a documentary film to make sure that we had the footage and the coverage that would work. So we shot Steve the first time at his house in New York, and then we went back to the studio and assembled, with some of the songs, a sort of rough, I think it was about an hour and a half long treatment of a possible show, with interviews interspersed with songs with kind of dummy images over them, to see if that was an approach that we liked. And we followed that up with another shoot in Connecticut 1 year later, where we filled out that timeline. And that was sort of the documentary filmmaking part of it, but simultaneously we were starting to develop a design for the stage, to treat Steve, the character in the documentary, as a virtual character on the stage.
all right. You, sir, how about a shave? Come on, visit your good friend, sweet.
All right. You, sir. How about a shave? Come and visit your good friends. You, sir. Too, sir. Welcome to the grave. I will have vengeance. I will have salvation.
How does video, with such a commanding presence of Sondheim standing there, much bigger than life, and the performers on the stage, how does that balance out so that it becomes an integrated experience and not a TV show projected with actors, sort of like a tribute show where, they do their dancing and then the big screen comes up. You talked about it earlier, but how do you achieve that balance?
Yeah, integration is the critical word when it comes to video, working in live settings. And that's true, I think, of the gallery and also of the theater, in that you need to find a way that these two things start to dialogue in time. And that's really what they share, is that it's this time-based event. And you need to make the video feel like it's as mutable and live as the actors. And that is, you can approach it in so many different ways. In some of my other work, I might use live cameras on the stage, or real-time software that people can interact with, or physical sensors that an actor or technician that's visible on the stage can interact with. There's such a variety of ways. Sometimes you use the physical environment itself to do it. Sometimes there are virtual characters, like in this case with Steve. Definitely the choice of control systems for how to, after you finished all your post-production, how to trigger the videos in the live setting is critical, because you need to be able to react to the actors, the musicians, the conductor, the audience. In this case, this show actually turned out to be one of the hardest in terms of audience response, night to night. What they would latch onto, how long they would laugh here, how long they would applaud there, and trying to figure out how to cue them to know when to be quiet, when to stop applauding and let the show move on so that its pace is maintained became one of our most difficult assignments. But one way I approach it is to try to make a virtual character that can be as responsive to the best of my ability, given that it's pre-recorded, as responsive as a live actor.
People strolling through the church.